Stand by.
So rewinding and going back to freshmen, let's start with the freshmen because I think as upcoming freshmen, they always have difficulty adjusting. What are some of the advice that you can give the freshmen that are incoming?
Come in with a positive attitude. Take advantage of all the resources that Salem High School has to offer. Just don't be narrow-minded. Get involved. That's the biggest thing. Stay active, get involved. If you're not an athletic person, get involved into a club. Socialize, meet your teachers. That's the biggest thing. Learn who your teachers are. Take advantage of their daybacks. You know, school just ends at 2:02, but that doesn't mean it doesn't continue. You know what I mean? So every day you want to go in there with the attitude, okay, I might not be the best student, but in this case, I can socialize with my teachers, socialize with other people, and in 4 years, it goes by very quickly, as you find out. So.
Yeah, daybacks. What are those?
Daybacks is teachers are assigned one day. English is usually on a Thursday, and you can go back, get the extra help that you need. That's the biggest thing, is that you want to be able to appreciate not only what they're doing, but what you can do.
I think we're going to be fine.
We're going to be fine.
We're rolling. Are you all set in there?
How to become an excellent student. And this time we're talking about being an excellent student in high school. High school, in my opinion, is probably one of the most difficult and challenging times in one's life. And it doesn't matter whether you are in Harare, in Zimbabwe, where I'm from, or you are here in the United States. It's one of those times where you're going to be going through some difficult moments, either with people or with teachers. So, how do you become an excellent student? You know what, if you've read any of my books, you know that at the beginning, I'm always acknowledging Salem High School. The reason why I love waking up every morning and why most students love waking up every morning is because of the teacher that we have on site today, Mr. Eric Farley. He's one of the staff members at Salem High School that I have seen who's dedicated and passionate about students making it from high school as excellent as they can be. So, welcome to the DrStem show, and I want to welcome Mr. Farley to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Maritini. It's a privilege and an honor to be here today.
Ah, finally. You know what he said to me? Oh, it's taken you 7 months to get me on the set. I am. I'm just, that persistent. I get what I want. What can I say? So welcome to the show.
As you said, you are persistent.
Yeah. So, Mr. Farley, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I grew up in the city of Salem, went to Horseman Laboratory School, K through 8. Back then, most of the schools were, local neighborhood schools, and then we all ended up going to the high school. So between 1979, I graduated in 1983 at Salem High School. I then enrolled at Northeastern University for about 2.5 years. Taking advantage of back then the cooperative education that they had to offer and balancing the academics and the cooperative education. And then I ended up transferring to Boston University, so a lot of teachers that I had at the high school gave me the recommendations, and it was always a dream to go to Boston University. My father went there, so I was privileged enough to obviously graduate from Boston University College of Liberal Arts. Now they call it the College of Arts and Sciences. So I fulfilled one of my goals in life.
Ha! That makes the two of us, because I'm a graduate of Boston University too.
Well, they
School of Social Work.
They only take the best of us. So.
I came at the School of Social Work, so that's awesome. I've seen you in school do everything. I mean everything from being a parent, a role model, a teacher, a mentor, and you name it. What is it that you do at Salem High School?
About 3 years ago, they put in a resource for the students. It's called the Academic Center. And what it is it involves students to have, again, another tool to their advantage. Yes. They enroll in the class, they receive a credit, It gives them a chance to balance. Nowadays, students are balancing all kinds of things in the year. So you have a ball over here, you have your family, you have your job, you have your athletics, you have your schoolwork, and sooner or later, one of those balls is going to fall to the floor. And this gives them a chance for that period to get organized, to do the homework that they need to do. And the biggest thing is obviously bring up their GPAs. A lot of students want to enroll in the academic center too. You know, they could be looking at a 2.5, 2.6, and they want to bring it up a little more because obviously the higher the GPA, the more options you're going to have. So with all these balls in the air, it gives me the, I can advocate for them with their teachers and basically give them the outlet that they need so they're not stressed all the time. And at the same time, it gives us a tool to work with because these students do want to succeed.
The higher the GPA, the more options that you'll get. I like that. Now, I have faced students, for those of you that are watching this and you probably watching it for the first time, the two faces that you definitely see at Salem High School, whether you're a parent or a student, are these two faces. I'm a therapist, private practice therapist that is there, so I provide counseling services, and Mr. Farley, as he says, he's in charge of the academic center. So the two of us work hand in hand so well that if he sees someone who's got, you know, emotional problems or going through, you know, tough times, he will refer to me whether I have that student as a patient or not, and I'll enroll them and work with that student and their family. So I love the work that, you know, we work together, you know, so well.
No question.
Yeah, and you know, so one of the things that I wanted to do is, you know, the GPA, because some of the students don't understand what is a GPA when they come to high school. How can we explain to them what the GPA is going to be?
The GPA is based on like an A would be like a 4.0, and then obviously a B is a 3.0. So every course that you take, they have a numeric value to it, and then you calculate it by the number of classes. So at this point, you know, if you have a 2.5 or a 3.0, you know, you're going to have more options than obviously a 1.6. So one of the things I stress to all students is to get involved, okay?
Yes.
Learn who your teachers are. You know, they're human. They're there to help you. And you know, a lot of the kids say, well, they don't like me. It's not that they don't like you. You need to make that effort to go to their daybacks and basically work with them. They're there to work with you, and that's the thing you're looking for is right, the connection, if you would.
So daybacks, what are those?
Like every teacher or every department is assigned a day back. So on Thursdays, the English teachers stay after school to help the students. And a lot of the students, you know, they'll go in there and they don't understand like a math problem or something. So take advantage of it, you know. Everybody is there to help the students. That's the biggest aspect, okay? We all want the students to succeed here in the city of Salem. And if you don't use the resources, then in 3-4 years when you're sitting there going, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, I don't know where I'm gonna end up next year as a senior, well, you know, those options you should have been looking at back in your sophomore year. And that's the thing, is those teachers are going to write the recommendations for you. They wrote them for me, they wrote them for my friends, and it's, you know, nowadays people call it networking, but that's what you need to do. You need to network what your interests, what you're good at, and then obviously, you know, go to college. And if you're not going to go to college, you're going to go to a trade school like Peterson's in Woburn, or go into the military, you still have those mentors that, you know, patted you on the back every day, and they're called teachers.
Yeah. And for those students, and I know you agree with me, that have that attitude, and you decide to have an attitude with a teacher, exchange some words with them, it's always amazing to me that every year I have students that will go back and say, do you think that teacher will give me a recommendation? I'm like, didn't I tell you you're going to need them?
And, you know, you come in your freshman year, you know, you're so used to the middle school, you know, your friends are there, and now everybody's taking a different path. Some kids take the honors classes, some students take the college prep classes, but for the most part, you know, for coming in freshman year, you're not aware, you're still immature. You have to basically realize, okay, I have 4 years to succeed. Yeah. I have to balance my academics. I have to balance my athletics. I have to balance my social, you know what I mean? And that's where some of the times that, you know, you meet new people. Okay, and that's the greatest thing is, you know, you never forget where you come from.
Yeah.
That was always what I tell the kids. You know, I'm part of this city, but I don't forget where I come from. Like the principal, David Angiolamo, he doesn't forget where he came from. You know, he's very successful today because he knows what it's like to succeed in high school, especially at Salem High.
Did you go to Salem High
Yes,
too?
he went to Salem High. And
Okay, I'm learning things today.
he's another one that, you know, realizes, you know, students have potential.
Yeah.
It's just pulling that potential out for every student and realizing, okay, this might not be the best fit for you, meaning going off to college, but we'll try, you know, through the guidance, we try all kinds of options for the students after high school.
Wow, I didn't know. And you know, the good thing about that is, as I said at the beginning of the show, the passion that I see in, you know, all the teachers and the staff members that are there. If you're a student that is a serious student, that's what you need to look at and pull out that. The days that are you're bad, they're gonna, you know, get on you if you're bad.
Right. And at the same time, it's a growing up experience.
Yeah.
You know, the first times they actually are becoming, you know, you use the term young adults. Yeah. But at the same time, they're overcoming obstacles too. Not everybody realizes what their obstacles are. You know, we can judge a student because, you know, he's not clean. There might be a poverty issue. There might be a socioeconomic issue. There might be a divorce issue. And, you know, so they're struggling to come to school every day, you know, and school isn't always the first criteria regarding the family. You know, as I tell the kids, family comes first, then your academics, and then we'll balance the rest of them. So
Excellent.
At this point, you know, a lot of students, they come in and they're not sure which avenue to take. That's why we're there. That's why you're there.
Exactly.
We show them which way to go. You know?
We're talking about how to become an excellent student today, and we're talking specifically about high school, how to become an excellent high school student. And with us, helping us, is Mr. Eric Farley from Salem High School. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Vicky, wake up.
What's wrong with my blouse?
It was opening up.
That was the
It's
best part
small.
of it. That's why I couldn't stare at the camera.
You couldn't see anything, you bozo. You didn't see nothing.
I feel fine.
Feeling pretty good?
You didn't
Just
see
let me know what we gotta do.
nothing. Nothing.
Up a little.
Nothing.
And that.
Beautiful.
How you feeling? Feeling great? I see you're feeling good about yourself today, right?
Yeah. Me, this is not an everyday thing for her.
It's just like,
Is this one of those days?
he just like picks on me. All right, so we have 3 segments. So this is the second one now.
You know, I'm enjoying the conversation, the way just the interaction of talking. So we're sort of like, well, you see, we're using this camera.
Yeah, more. Yeah. I see.
Do you know, we're moving on to the second segment? Stand by.
What am I saying?
Stand by.
What are we talking about, the second one?
I don't know.
Great.
You guys are
Great.
volunteers.
Just keep doing what we're doing.
And just keep talking?
Just keep doing what you do.
No, just keep talking. High school years, we're talking about how to become an excellent student in high school. What good timing that we have because we're about to open schools.
That's true.
Yes, so we're talking to Mr. Eric Farley, who's helping us on some of the things that you need to know as a student. What about the parents? Do we have any advice for the parents?
Parents need to get involved.
Yeah.
One of the things that even I'm guilty of at times is we spend a lot of time, obviously we want what's best for us children.
Yeah.
And, you know, parents spend a lot of time in the summertime. You know, my child's going to go to this hockey camp, my child's going to go to this basketball camp, soccer camp, which is all wonderful.
Yes.
But they spend more effort trying to choose which camp they're going to go to. And then when it comes on in September, October, they get involved. And they need to get more involved. Get an idea of what's being offered at Salem High School. Get an idea now, as an incoming freshman and a sophomore, your first 2 years are critical, not only for your education and your GPA, but also get an idea of where your student wants to go or your child wants to go to college. You know, we spend a lot of time, you know, evaluating camps because, you know, even myself at times, you want to live that dream that your child's going to be the athletic one and he's going to improve his skills, whether it's on the baseball field. But now, you know, you look at it, and I've taken a 360 on a lot of views because, you know, even my own children that are entering as freshmen at Salem High School this coming September, you know, I have two different children that are opposites. So I have to look at them like, okay, I want to know in the next 2 or 3 years, you know, let's narrow down the focus. Let's narrow it down. Do you want to go to college? Which ones are interesting to you? You know, parents need to spend more time, I believe, you know, regarding the education. Okay, what's being offered? Who are your teachers? Communicate with your teachers, okay? Don't be afraid to communicate. There's always that thing. Don't over-communicate on everything, but keep, you know, get an idea of what's coming up. You know, is my child succeeding? Are they missing homework? Just a very quick email. Is my child succeeding in your class? Is he doing his homework? I'd like to keep on top of it. Thank you for your time. I appreciate your efforts. And the same with the guidance. Learn who your guidance people are. You don't need to learn who they are junior and senior year. They're not there to just make out a schedule and make sure, you know, the schedule works. They're there to guide you for a trade school, the military, the college, you know, aspect. So at this point, get to know who's involved in your children's lives. And, you know, you don't have to be, you know, the cliche is, you know, the helicopter parent that's always there, okay? Give them the space to grow, to mature, you know, and nowadays, you know, even as adults, you know, everybody's afraid of failure. We don't want to fail, okay? And at that point, you know, in order to fail, it also helps you grow. You know, you overcome obstacles within your own lives, and then you know, you look at those obstacles, and then you turn around and you say, okay, I have to redirect my thoughts, my positive attitude, and the same with the kids. You know, at this point, let them grow. Let them make mistakes. Let them own up to those mistakes. You know, if they get a 60 on a test, okay, maybe they didn't study for it. Go back and see the teacher. Go back and realize what you did wrong. You know, just don't say, oh, you know, the teacher doesn't like me, or, you know, I have no help, there's no support system. You want a support system? They got you. They have me. They have other avenues that they can do. And that's, I think parents realize nowadays, don't spend so much time scheduling your, you know, child for, you know, athletic camps, drama camps. Those are all good. Don't get me wrong. I am fully appreciated what I've done for my 2 boys over the years. But now, when they enter the high school, okay, they're gonna be students first, athletics second. You know, and that's what it comes down to.
And another thing that I want to emphasize, especially to parents out there, is you have to understand that whatever is going on in your life, in your home, is going to 100% affect how your child performs in school, how they behave in school. So most of the time, you wait until you get that phone call from a teacher who has no idea why there's a 360-degree turnaround from this student that used to be very, you know, cooperative. They used to listen and they used to do everything, and all of a sudden things change. They're angry, they're screaming at everyone, they're fighting with other students in the school. And the first place that we need to look at when you get that phone call or you hear those behavior problems, look around your own home. What is going on in that home? Because most of the time, I will say that there's something going on in your home that these children are reacting to. There's some change that is a major change that's happening in their life that we need to look at, besides the teacher being the bad teacher or the school being a bad school. We literally have to, and you know, I mean, emphasize that you look at your home, because then, as you said, there are families that are going through divorces, they're going through challenging times. We understand that.
Yeah.
But then the thing about it is we have to deal with this child who has no idea how to deal with mom getting arrested, with, us not having money for rent, and mom is venting on me to say, we don't even have money for this. What am I supposed to do? I'm 15 years old. So I think we need to put it back on the parents, and that's why the counseling is there. I'm one of the therapists. We can help you talk about that in balance so that the child can be a child and you as a parent can do the parenting stuff and worry about the things that you're supposed to worry about.
Nowadays, 2 parents are working.
Yeah.
It's a working environment.
Yes.
It's not like it was when I was growing up or when you were growing up.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a village. You're right. It does take a village, the old cliche. But at the same time, both parents are working. Both parents are trying to put food on the table. And let's be realistic. It's a very more active lifestyle now. The old fast food places, people don't sit down and have dinners. And, when I was growing up, my father used to always say, he never asked where I was going. He used to ask, who are you going with? Oh. And I never knew that. And I'd be like looking at him like, what do you mean? You want to know who I'm hanging around with? Even in my junior and senior years, just to go down, the old McDonald's on Canal Street, we used to walk down there from the house, and hang around. My father would always say, I don't care where you're going, just tell me who you're hanging around with. And now as an adult, I look back and I say, again, the peer pressure, the positive influences, and that's what you create in high school too. Those friends that I have in high school are my dear friends today. And now a lot of them have gone on their separate ways. But it's always that camaraderie. I can see somebody and say, we went to school together. But at the same time, a lot of people are ambitious nowadays, and those are the people that I socialize with. And that's what kids have to realize. Sometimes, just because they were your friends in middle school, doesn't mean that that's your new friends in high school. Yeah. So the parents, they can always, be there for the child, but be there in a way that's positive, and even to the struggles and everything, get involved. Like I said, it doesn't take much. I'd like to know if my child is doing his homework. I appreciate a little feedback. Thank you. That's all. That's all.
What I like about Salem High is on your website, if you Google Salem High School, there's actually emails for all the teachers. Yes. So you'll be able to get the email for all the teachers and email them.
Again, another tool that has been put in by the district, another resource. People can always concentrate on the negative. It's the positive. 78% of the students go to college 2 or 4 years. Well, the other 22 might be working. They might be in the military. They might be learning a trade as an apprentice. And those are the things you need to focus on. I'd love to do a study in about, 10 years after high school, what you're doing. Not so much, we put everything in data sheets.
Yes.
And that, as an educator, at times, that's not where my passion is. It might take a student an extra couple of classes to get out of high school.
Yes.
It might take them, a year, which, back then, North Shore Community College, I had a girl stop me on the street 2 days ago, and I says to her, where you going? She says, I'm just going to North Shore. I'm finishing up my 2nd year. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I've got, trying to get an associate's degree. And I'm looking at her like, so what's wrong with that? North Shore Community College, well, it's not a big school. Well, you know what? You're paying a little bit of money to get an associate's degree that you can transfer when you're ready to a 4-year college, save yourself some money because you've already completed some of the core requirements. So why is that, a downfall? Well, it's just North Shore. It's just Bunker Hill. Well, you know what? When you're ready, you might take those and move on. Yeah. And that's what kids don't realize, and parents are always living the dream, including myself at times, But there are options. There's a lot of options.
Yeah. We are talking about succession in high school. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back.
So where have you been all this time? I mean, you talk about so much.
Is that my phone?
That's your phone, because mine shut down.
Did you put the volume up? Because I had shut it down.
Don't touch your phone.
Yeah, okay.
How are we doing?
We're doing good.
We're
I told you
We're hitting on the high points.
This could take forever, but this is nice. Yep, this is great.
Parents need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
They do.
I think they need to be involved.
Yep.
It's in there. Let me get the bag, because you might get beaten in there. I don't know what snake is in here. I think I put it in the outside pocket. Yep, it is in the outside pocket.
You're a busy person.
There we go. Yep.
All right.
Great, 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 great,
Are you
great.
going to
Quite
continue on the point that you was talking about North Shore and how you transfer that 2-year degree to another university and what you can achieve?
I was going to tell you, I don't know what he was talking about, but okay, thank you for reminding me.
You know, and it's. I deal with this every day. I thought it was just me.
Oh boy, we're talking today to Mr. Eric Farley from Salem High School. My heart and soul, I always say. You know what? The reason why we're talking about being successful in high school is, you know, for the very reason that he talked about. He attended Salem High School. The principal, Mr. David Angeram, attended Salem High School. They both came back together with many other teachers, I'm sure, that are there that went to Salem High School, came back to give back. So then if you don't get, you know, if you're not successful at the high school, how would you be able to come back and give back at the high school? You can't. So that means, you know what, this is your time to take everything that you can to become that successful person that will come back one day and give back to the students that will be there, because it's going to be there forever, I'm sure.
Of course it is.
I'm sure. You were talking about getting into the 2-year college and then transferring to college.
Right.
When should one start, you know, considering all that? Freshman, sophomore, junior?
Freshman year, I think you need to get in, you know, obviously get used to the Salem High School, the courses, the teachers. Put yourself in a positive role come September, okay? Get to know the flow of the school. What's being offered? What's available? Basically, what teams can you join? What clubs can you join? You know, the music is music and drama is huge, and it's very successful at Salem High School, especially, you know, under Cynthia Napakowski. She just does a terrific job, and those are the options that not all the middle schools offer. But when you come to the high school, now you're coming together as one. You're representing the community.
Yes.
And you know, kids can say, well, I came from Bowditch, I live in the Willows, I live in Castle Hill. Those are areas. But when you come to the high school and you graduate, the community is expecting you to succeed. And like you said, you can go off, be successful, come back, and don't forget where you came from. You know, a lot of the local industries like Talbot Electric, you know, they give back to the community every year, you know. And Kevin Talbot is an example of how he really never left the city. You know, a lot of my friends and a lot of people look around, you know, you got the Katniss family. Those people are dedicated not only to the schools, but to the community. And they don't forget where they come from, you know?
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I also wanted to remind the students is that, you know what, when you come to the high school, there's one big change that I've seen, you know, in the 4 or 5 years I've been at Salem High School that changes. You are going to have homework, and the teachers are actually going to expect you to do the homework and bring it back into the classroom. So that's for sure, and it's for real. The other thing is, if you had friends in middle school, most likely you guys will not be talking, or they'll find other friends and you'll find other friends, and that's real. You know, things will change. And why do they change? Because you're all growing up, and people are starting to realize that, you know what, we are becoming, as Mr. Farley said, young adults. As young adults, you get to choose the path that you want to take.
Exactly.
And some friends might not be good for you anymore, or it's just that, you know what, you want to get to know other people besides who you've been hanging around with in middle school.
And the same with when you look at your junior years and you're looking at where to go for colleges. You're not going to pick a college because, you know, hopefully you don't, that your friends are all going to apply to. You're picking colleges that you believe in, that are going to help you, you know, whether it's a business school or a English type liberal arts like Boston University, social work. I mean, those are the things you're looking at. So at this point, like one of the things we have that came out the other day on Facebook regarding the Salem community page that Cindy Collette puts together is that we have dual enrollment with Salem State College,
Yes.
where kids can take college classes,
Yes.
get credit for the college class, and then obviously use them for their transcripts for high school. But a lot of people have now in the last couple days stopped me and said, when did this happen? It's been there. And the thing is that if you're not sure, call Bob Quist at the guidance. Call your guidance, counselors. They're there to help you.
Yes.
And if you can save a couple dollars and take a college course now and be successful at it, and then turn around and use it as your transcripts, that's less money you have to pay for no matter what college you go to.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that, I'm going to reiterate, parents have to realize and students have to realize what their resources are. You just can't walk in there and go, okay, this is 4 walls, I got to sit here, I got to listen to the teacher, I got to do a little homework, and then before you know it, 4 years is up and it's like, okay, what are you doing? I don't know. I mean, we hear it all day long, and we can summarize it just like we did. I don't know.
I don't know.
And
it's 4 years later, you're right.
Exactly.
You're right. So they support, and
Yes.
there's information that you can get.
Yep.
And you know what? As much as we say that high school could be the most difficult years, it actually can be one of the most rewarding times that you can have in your life.
No question.
If you use the resources that are there.
And you want to balance everything in the year.
Yes.
So you want your academics, you want your athletics, you want your music. I mean, and then obviously you need that social,
Yes.
outlet.
Yes.
And that social outlet is, okay, these people might be negative because they see themselves as negative,
Yep.
but you put yourself in another avenue saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to try these people.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that, during Thanksgiving week, Pride week, the halls are decorated, the classes come together. I mean, you can't believe what you've seen in the last 5 years.
I know.
And that whole
Yeah.
pride thing comes
Yes.
out. No matter if you're the class of 2016, 2017, you're still representing Salem High School.
Exactly.
And, people can say, like nowadays people are saying, well, the schools need a little bit of development. Yes, of course they do. And, but at the same time, let's not lose focus that the students are coming in September. They want to succeed.
And one thing I have to emphasize is, as a student, no matter what your parent is doing or not doing, no matter how the school is doing or not doing, no matter whether the teacher loves you or doesn't love you, your success depends on you.
Yes.
You have to decide what it is that you want to be, how you want to be remembered at the high school, but most of all, you have to do the work. Sometimes, as I have noticed, the classes are not as easy as they're supposed to be, so sometimes the classes are difficult. Missing school is not the way that you're going to make it. You cannot stay at home and say, you know what, I don't do well in that classroom, so I'm not going to school. It's not going to help. Right. You've got to come to school. Talk to someone about how difficult this class is for you. If the teacher, maybe the teacher is not understanding or hearing you out, talk to Mr. Farley, talk to another teacher. If you're at another high school, talk to another teacher to say, I'm struggling with this, because what I've noticed is there are programs that are there to accommodate people that are struggling in the mainstream classes. And it's not because you're a terrible student, it's not because you're retarded or anything. Nope. We just have different ways of learning. Right. And that's all it does, accommodate your way of learning.
At least attendance if you come into the building. This is what I tell students, even the ones that have anxiety.
Yes.
Okay? And, they're stressed. They're not sure which avenue they want to take once again. I tell them, once you get into the building, okay, like my academic center, we can put you in the academic center and basically get the work for you, but at the same time, get an understanding. Obviously, they could have counseling with you.
Yes.
They might need a little extra time,
Yeah.
okay? And if you don't come into the building and talk to us, we have no idea.
We can
So what I tell students is come in, that's your first obstacle.
Yes.
Cross the threshold, come and talk to myself, other people that are there. It's not always about, you know, us two. But,
Oh,
you
there are
know,
many,
there's many people.
many staff
and
members,
many
yeah.
and people
Yeah.
just have a heart of gold.
Yes.
And, you know, and that's
Yes.
true throughout all the schools here in
Yeah.
the city. You know, people put their time and effort.
Yes.
But you come in, and then we can maybe have to change your schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
We might have to accommodate you to work because
Yes.
you're the provider of the family, which is
Exactly.
huge.
Yes.
You know, you might have to, you know, take the honors class and say, you know what, I'm not that, you know, I have struggled in math, so we give you another math class.
Yes.
But, you know, the bottom line is come to school,
Yes.
okay? If you, it's like showing up for your job. If you don't show up for your job, you're not going to get paid.
Okay.
And the kids say, well, we don't get paid. Well, you do get paid. You get paid with skills and knowledge to someday, you know, I tell kids, you want a job
Yeah.
or do you want a career?
Yeah.
Think about that.
And you can get a job at any time.
Yep.
But a career, you've got to attend school.
Exactly.
Mr. Farley, we could talk all day,
We can.
all night,
Yep.
and advise
And we
these
have.
kids. And we have.
Yeah, we have.
So what we'll do is, you know what, I know where he is, he knows where I am. We'll bring him back again during the school year and talk way more about how to become a successful student, maybe a student of life. Now that he's talked to us about being a student in high school, we can talk about
Yep.
being a student in life. So
It never changes.
thank you
It
so
never
much for
changes.
coming in today.
It's a pleasure. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
We've been talking about how to become a successful student in high school, and our guest today was Mr. Eric Farley from Salem High School. Thank you for watching the DrStem Show.
That's a wrap.
Okay, you were breathing too much.